Listening to WICR, Iona College Radio.
From the third floor of the Murphy Center here at Iona College, this is your host, The Rock is on this Friday, November 4th, 2016. The wait is finally over. The Chicago Cubs, a.k.a. the lovable losers, the team that can never win it all, are finally world champions. I repeat, the Chicago Cubs are world champions. And if you think about it, prior to the Cubs winning the World Series or beating the Cleveland Indians in the 7th game of the World Series on Wednesday, the Chicago Cubs historically had went through so many heartbreaking moments. Whether it was losing the 1945 World Series in 7 games, with the 7th game being at Wrigley Field, 1969 collapse where they had a great lead in September. But then the Black Cat stood in front of their dugout, went on the field at Shea Stadium, went in front of their dugout, and they just collapsed. The Mets winded up winning the division and went to the World Series and winded up winning it. They were known as the Miracle Mets then. Or if it was Game 5, the 1984 NLCS against the San Diego Padres, and Leon Durham had the ball go through his legs, and the Padres capitalized, and they winded up winning. They winded up going to the World Series. Or if it was 2003. Against the Florida Marlins, or the then Florida Marlins, now known the Miami Marlins, where the Cubs were 5 outs away from going to the World Series, but then in the 8th inning, Luis Castillo hits a ball into left field. Moises Alou, he's running. He goes to the wall, he leaps, and a fan gets in the way. And that fan was Steve Bartman. And that night, on October 14th, 2003, it was a night of infamy for Steve Bartman. The guy, after the play, the Marlins scored 8 runs that inning. The Cubs just collapsed completely. Everyone was blaming him. He was the scapegoat. They were cussing at him, throwing beer at him, food, yelling at him, getting in his face. It looked like it was like a lynch party or somebody that was they were trying to execute somebody. It was crazy. If you're in that situation, it's terrifying. It really is terrifying. But that's all in the past now. It's all in the past. No more Cub memes. No more, we haven't won a World Series since 1908. No more, the lovable losers. No more, they get so close, but they never finish. None of that. No more. The Cubs are going to the Cubs are World Series champions. And it kind of has a ring to it. Kind of has a feel to it. But also, what I thought might have been a jinx, could have been a good luck charm, or could have been a jinx, was about a month ago, Tom Verducci of Sports Illustrated wrote an article declaring the Chicago Cubs 2016 World Champions, and I have the Sports Illustrated article right here. I'll show it right to the dash cam. You get a closer look. And basically, the cover of that article was supposed to, originally, when the Cubs won the World Series in 1908, all the Cub players on that championship team, they had all the players' faces or headshots on a cover of a magazine. It wasn't called Sports Illustrated. I think it was called Sports Time Magazine or something like that back in the day, or early 1900s. And it said, congrats to the 1908 or World Champions, Chicago Cubs 1908. And what Sports Illustrated did was they kind of made a repeat or a second version of it, if you want to say. But this time they had all the Cubs from this year's team. They had Anthony Rizzo, they had Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, John Lester, Aroldis Chapman, Joe Madden, Jake Arrieta, and pretty much all the other main players on the team, on this year's championship team. And they crossed it out from 1908 champions to 2016 champions. So it was pretty cool to see that. Really cool. But it's surreal. It's just amazing to see the Cubs win a World Series. You know, all those Cub memes and the Cubs curse is gone. No more curse of the Billy Goat. No more Black Cats. No more Steve Bartman. It's over. It's over. All right, you hear that, Chicago? You got to forgive Steve Bartman now. Whether you blamed him or not, you got to welcome him back with open arms. He is forgiven. The guy can now officially move on with his life. So can you. Because it's just sad to see people blame, you know, a fan who's just trying to reach up for a foul ball and thinking that, oh, he had an impact on the game, and you make him the scapegoat for the Cubs losing. You know, it's the Cubs player's fault. It's not a fan's fault. Because anyone would have done that. Everyone would have reached for a foul ball especially in a playoff game. Come on. And before I wrap up here, I just want to say, it's just before the calendar switched to 2016, there were two things that people made a lot of memes or alluded to with memes or made a lot of memes about. And they made those references to Leonardo DiCaprio not winning an Oscar or failing to win an Oscar, and the Chicago Cubs not winning a World Series. And it's crazy how both Leonardo DiCaprio winning an Oscar and the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series happened the same calendar year. You know, it's like all the planets just aligned up. And it's like a parallel universe happened, and the complete opposite just happened. So, as we're in November and 2016 has about a little less than 60 days left, going into 2017 and beyond, there will be no more Leonardo DiCaprio Oscar memes or not winning an Oscar memes, and no more Chicago Cubs not winning the World Series memes. No more Cub memes, Cub World Series memes, no more Leonardo DiCaprio memes. It is over, folks. It's over. No more. No more. All that superstition with the Cubs and all that doubt with Leonardo DiCaprio or for Leonardo DiCaprio, it's done. Kiss it goodbye. Wave it goodbye. It's over. It is over. And it'd be interesting to see, and lastly, it would be interesting to see if Leonardo DiCaprio can win an Oscar in 2017 and the Cubs can go back-to-back. Now, that would be something. That would be something. And with that, that concludes this segment. Have a great day, everyone.